Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update. Thursday, May 24th at 10:43 p.m. Mountain Time 2018. It's still snowing, and this is in the Northern Hemisphere. This is not a green screen, folks. This is a real road up in Labrador in Newfoundland. Take a look at the visuals from today, May 24th, 2018, Indian Arm Pond, Newfoundland, Labrador. Absolutely insane, off the charts on the eastern seaboard of Canada and the Northern Hemisphere just weeks before summer. Yes, I said it. California snow in May. Yes, on the West Coast, it's doing the same thing. It's coming. It's coming to British Columbia and it's coming to the Sierras. Believe it or not, winter weather is headed for the mountains of California in late May. A winter weather advisory is in effect for portions of the Sierra Nevada mountains 5 a.m. Friday morning until 5 a.m. Saturday morning. This advisory is for elevations above 8,000 feet. 1 to 3 inches of snow are expected with localized amounts of 6 or more. While this isn't exactly a huge dumping of snow, keep in mind it's almost June. And that's today's first boom. Yes. Wow, did we just cut off a jaguar jumping into space? It's still snowing in eastern Canada. More snow is possible here in the Sierra Nevada mountains this weekend. Portions of eastern Canada look more like winter this week. More snow is possible into the weekend in eastern Canada and the Sierra Nevada mountains. There's video from Ken Hayward. Yes, it's late May and it's still snowing in eastern Canada. And more snow may fall this weekend in both Canada and the U.S. Usual grand solar minimum snowfall resulted in some unbelievable pictures in Newfoundland and New Brunswick this week. These are the types of anomalous events that they call unusual, which leads to crop loss, food production failures, and the inevitable global unrest. It quickly turned from spring back to winter, especially in portions of Newfoundland. Here's a before and after shot. Look at that. And that is a boom. Whew. Great update tonight. Central Newfoundland hit with May 24th snow, burying the previous record back to 1965. Whew. Those are the facts. Check out Pop-Op doing the shoveling. Why is Pop-Op always doing the shoveling? Those grandkids need to get out there. That's for certain. Oh, please load tonight. Let's go on. We got some great news coming up at the end of the video, and that's boom. What do we do when it snows? When life hands you snow right before summer, you take pictures. He's got his homebrew and his dog. Look at that guy. You know the old adage about snow in May. The fluffy white stuff could be collected and kept. What's going on with the top of the screen? Residents of central western Newfoundland have a lot to work after record amounts of snow fell on May 24th, bending signs. In Triton, according to Environment Canada meteorologist Rodney Barney, 36 centimeters fell by 12:30 p.m. Thursday. Many people reached for their cameras and their coffees. Look at this guy. I love him. I love him. I love him. Look at the shave head or the baldy in the cup. Look at that guy. He's buttoned his golf shirt all the way up to the neck, and he's just pimping, sockless, in the snow. Oh, no one's having dinner there tonight. This deck pretty well sums up what it looked like in central Newfoundland. Here's the before in Gander, May 23rd, 2018. Boom! May 24th, 2018. Oh, grand solar minimum much? I love it. I love it when science is actually working in its science. I love it when the temperature drops 0.6 degrees C in just 2 years. I love it when temperature drops. Oh no, what's happening here? Uh-oh. Bring it back. We don't need that. Guys, here's the Sierra snow we're talking about. We also have some heavy isolated snow in northern Utah. Heads up. Let's quick run it through. We're talking Sunday the 27th and the 28th. Starting Friday, in the Sierras heavily on Sunday, and then that northern snow in Utah moving in. That's not the most interesting thing coming on the GFS models, and we need to quickly look at this. 2 weeks ago, I predicted a tropical storm entering this region and forming a hurricane on May 27th. And guess what, kids? I was right. 14 days ago, I predicted a Category 2 hurricane off the coast of Louisiana on May 27th. And many of our subscribers that were traveling to the Louisiana area and in that region actually shifted their plans based on my information. And thankfully they did. Because this storm was not on the models for the last 7 days. But guess what, kids? It's back. And it's at 992 millibars on Sunday, May 27th. And in the morning of the 28th, it's dropping to 989. And then when it hits land here on May 28th, heads up, New Orleans, 988 millibars, which is in the Category 2 range. It's a very high-end Cat 1, Cat 2 storm, which is showing up today on the GFS model as we make the video. And this is going to not move very quickly. Look at what happens here. There could be a second tropical disturbance entering the mix, and this is going to be a heavy rainmaker. Heavy, heavy rainmaker. Let's go for the total accumulated precipitation, and I'll give you a really good idea of what I'm talking about here. Bear with me as this loads, and we'll just jump over to the next story here, because that's how we do it here. We just do it on the fly. Snow again overnight, downpours, cold weekend on the way for New Zealand. Up to 400 lightning strikes have hit the north of the North Island as cold blast is bringing snow. Both islands move across the country. This doesn't make any sense. It must have been translated. The active front brought bands of rain and embedded thunderstorms over central North Island overnight on Friday. Met Service recorded over a little over 300 lightning strikes in the Waikato, with about 100 more bolting across the Bay of Plenty skies. Many woke to flashes of light and booming skies as a band of thunderstorms made its way up the King Country and over the Kamai Range. The action began at 2:30 a.m., but the main show took place in Hamilton just before 5 a.m. Heavy snow warnings for Fordland, Westland, south of Haast, south and north of Mavora Lakes, and western Otago Ranges. Did you hear that? It's all the way down here in the south, in the southwest. So that's a heads up. Let's go check that GFS model for the tropical storm we're talking about and the total accumulated precipitation. Look at this baby move up into the Gulf and wait until you see where 14, 16, 20 inches of rain are expected to fall. I'm just going to pause this at the end of the run, which brings us into June 9th. And what you're looking at is 24 inches of rain expected in an area that cannot handle 24 inches of rain. And we're talking 6 to 12 inches in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 states. The entire Southeast is going to be flooded the first week of June. And that's a heads up. We're talking millions of people affected here, tens of thousands of subscribers, potentially. Heads up, New Orleans. Does not look good for you. That storm's getting the 988 millibars here, putting it right on the cusp of Cat 1, Cat 2, which is going to mean that winds are going to be from 95 to 100 miles an hour at the max. Probably more in the sustained 60 to 80 mile an hour range at the coast. So this is something you want to be preparing for ahead of time. You only have 2 days. So if you hit the supermarket tomorrow, you're going to be there before everything is purchased, because this is going to definitely cause shortages in the supermarket. We're going to be covering it. Winter losses of bee colonies in Ontario could be the worst on record. Montreal, Canadian beekeepers are expressing concern about the effects of the grand solar minimum on their colonies, with the president of the Ontario Beekeepers Association describing the level of dead or ailing ones as astounding. It's quite discouraging and demoralizing for beekeepers, said Jin Kobai, 55, said in a phone interview on Monday. An association survey of almost 900 Ontario beekeepers indicated 70% suffered unsustainable losses. That's going to be moving south into the croplands. 5.4 in Fiji at a depth of 467.8 kilometers does not bode well for this region. Look for a 6.5 or greater in the next 24 hours. Heads up New Zealand. We have ADAC rumbling again up in the Aleutian chain here at the tip, which is a volcano rumbling off of 4.9. We have sporadic and intense activity in Hawaii with over 50 quakes today, all in the 3 magnitude. That's due to the evacuation of that Pahoehoe lava, which is now in 3 lava rivers, reaching the ocean in 3 places, and evacuations are in place. The 3rd Kilauea lava flow reached the ocean, causing deadly lays today. As officials prepare evacuation, Hawaii's volcano Kilauea continues to erupt, with a 3rd stream of molten lava now hitting the ocean and sparking fears over health risks to the public over deadly lava haze called lays. Whew, that's a tongue twister. He looks concerned. Look at how concerned that man is. Hawaii County civil defense officials continue to warn the public to be aware of the lays, which is a mixture of gas and glass. Holy crap. Which is created from the plumes created when lava hits the water. Why you would want to continue to live in this region and go back to your home is anybody's guess. But if you'd like to inhale lays, it's on you. Lays contains tiny shards of volcanic glass and killed 2 people in Hawaii in 2000 after they ventured too close to the boiling acidic cloud. They were probably looking for a selfie. Well, the sheep need to be culled. And that's boom. We've got some information coming in from Kilauea, and we have lots of other stuff here if it ever loads. Stick with me. This is the Kilauea Volcano Community Project. This is a crowd-funded open source mapping of the lava flows as of yesterday. You can see detailed analysis of people on the ground here leaving reports of exactly where the lava is. Up here by Fisher 17, 18, you can see how the lava is backing up towards the geothermal plant here and moving the actual wrong direction. The slope here, downslope, is to the ocean clearly where the lava is flowing. This is the 3rd lava arm, which probably reached the ocean today. 1, 2, 3 are all in the same region. You can see the other historic flows in recent times clearly everywhere here. All these flows emanating from this rift. Rift meaning a crack. Parallel to the coast, this rift, the Helena slump is up here that everyone's worried about. I would be worried about the East Rift Zone slumping. Not the Helena slump, which is over here. It's the East Rift Zone that can slump. So if we have enough weakness on this rift, let's let this load. So the Helena slump is up over in this region, but the Eastern Rift Zone is really the worry. It's easier for a smaller section of the island to slump, and the amount of lubrication and cracking in this zone right here is the area that people should be worried about. So luckily there are not a lot of people downslope from here. I don't know if there's anyone west of these lava flows. If there are, please send me a message or comment below if you're in that region. Anyone below the rift is at risk for this slumping into the ocean in the next few weeks. We're going to be keeping a close eye on that. The information coming from USGS Kilauea status here at usgs.gov is from yesterday. It's not even worth your attention. You're better off watching YouTube videos. But you will get links to it down below. The blue gas emanating from those small fissures may not be methane. In fact, if you just do a Google search on blue effects of volcanoes, You can come here to why does this Indonesian volcano burn bright blue? And it's simply from the sulfur burning. Now, earlier in the eruption of Kilauea, at the very beginning of the eruptive activity in Leilani Estates in the East Rift Zone, we had A'a lava coming out. It's now Pahoehoe, but the A'a lava sounds like broken glass. And at the fissures where they were venting, there were yellow sulfur deposits. So I think these sulfur deposits may be igniting due to the heat and maybe burning blue. It may not be methane, but it could be sulfur burning, which is far more toxic. So if you're in that region, get a gas mask or get out. I'll leave you links to that article. Volcano news today, Dukono continuous ash advisories, and we have Kilauea currently erupting. Keep your eye on Mayon, Sakurajima, and Sabancaya, all erupting in the last 24 hours. Canada has dormant volcanoes. Yes, it does. Climate change could wake them up in the form of cosmic rays, yes. So increased cosmic rays cause volcanoes to erupt. There's a direct correlation. It's an anti-correlation. Google it. We have hundreds of years of volcanoes erupting in the near future, and the Canadian dormant volcanoes will certainly awaken. I'll leave you links to this down below. We are slow. I apologize. It's the powers that be that are blocking me. Carleton PC candidate says she does not believe in climate change is man-made. Amen. Goldie Gamari was asked if humans cause climate change in a debate in South Ottawa. And guess what she said? No. I believe climate change is real. I do not believe climate change is man-made, and I certainly do not believe the people of Carleton are at fault for climate change, she said. She is my hero, and I heard nothing about her until today. Heads up, Goldie. We love you. And that's a boom. Let's talk about the reality. Paris climate promises will reduce temperatures on Earth by just 0.05 C. So if we spend billions of dollars to change all this infrastructure to save the planet, the temperature will only be reduced by 0.5 C. Does that sound cockamamie to you? It should, because the temperature in recent months has dropped 0.42 degrees C. 0.42. Not 0.05. That's only one half of this little chunk. So even if we follow the Paris Accord and listen to the global warming alarmists, the carbon taxers, and all the idiots, it would only reduce temperature by half of one of these blocks. Now, that's ridiculous because the normal temperature fluctuation in the last 2 years is 16 times that. And it's in the negative, the cooling direction. 16 times cooler than the Paris Climate Accord would actually affect. And there's no way they could know that. In fact, it wouldn't do anything. And that's the truth. Because the climate is controlled by the cosmos, not by man, and certainly not by D-bags and governments that want to tax you. And we are well aware that volcanoes erupt during grand solar minimums. Here's the Cascades. There's been no volcanoes erupting there because of high cosmic ray flux. I apologize, because of low cosmic ray flux, high solar activity. We've been in the global warming world, which is actually called solar maximum, has nothing to do with man. Of course, the planet is going to warm after the last mini ice age. There's only one way the temperature can go after an ice age, up. These clowns continue to perpetuate the biggest fraud in human history. And everyone just gobbles it up. All for what? For 0.5 degrees C, which is not going to do anything for anyone in 100 years? Are you kidding me? Do you know how Australia survived its second hottest summer? Without blackouts, I'll tell you, they're full of shite. It wasn't the second hottest anything. It's total nonsense. It had its second hottest summer, but it wasn't that hot. Read this article. It's total BS. My goodness. It's getting so obvious. It's sickening. The WHO warns Congo's Ebola outbreak is on epidemiological knife's edge. Oh, really? Are you kidding me? How stupid do they think we are? Guys, don't touch anyone with Ebola. These white animals are struggling to hide in a world with less snow. Unfortunately, the media is full of shite. It's almost summer and there is tons of snow north of 45 degrees. Almost the entire over 50% of the landmass north of 60 covered in snow. We had record snowfall in the northern hemisphere this year. We have record ice volume continuing into the summer. It's plateauing. In fact, it's turning up. It's turning up right before June. It has already passed 2014 levels in volume, and it is heading towards the multi-decadal average and about to pass it in June. Our predictions is that by mid-June, we are going to be well above the average here. Right in the zone. Our predictions for the past 3 months have all come true. Arctic sea ice today is 12 feet thick throughout the Northern Passage. There are no ships going through here anytime in the next 3 months. It's 12 foot thick clear across the Arctic. Multi-year ice is building in the islands here. Anyone that tell you the Arctic is melting away is an idiot, and they didn't spend 5 minutes and go look at the Arctic ice. It is thicker than it has been in decades. At this time, corruption and incompetence mark Los Angeles' attempt to electrify its bus fleet. These corrupt governments and officials don't give up about you. They don't care about the earth. They don't care about the climate. There would be no way they would be taxing plant food as pollution. They would actually be eliminating pollution in the inner cities because people are sickened that live in these population centers. From thousands of toxic pollutants, CO2 is not one of them. Now, what you find out when you read this article is that these global warming alarmists, these granola tree-hugging left-wing radicals, because that's what they are, they're trying to line their pockets with green, and it's not in the form of marijuana, it's in the form of dollars. They're buying into the companies. They're doing illegal insider trading amongst themselves. This is the whole crony capitalism driving the world right now. I can't wait till it ends. They're wasting your tax dollars. Stop paying your taxes, for God's sakes. Check out space weather. We have a solar minimum sun shutting down that sunspot hard. This big sunspot is just being killed by the solar minimum. As it turns around the limb, it is shutting down. And what appeared to be a hopeful solar flare to take the grid out is actually not happening. But we're going to keep a close eye on this spot as it turns away and this new active region as it turns into the limb. But as far as X-ray flux is concerned, the solar minimum has shut down the spot. Solar wind is dying off. Almost no space weather. We're going to drop down here into quiescence, and that is going to be an uptick in earthquakes in the next 24 to 48 hours. So keep an eye on the New Zealand area because of that Fiji earthquake down at 560 kilometers that just ticked off. Guys, have you heard about this Facebook page? A new little ice age has started. If you haven't, go click a like here. This is the author of A New Little Ice Age Has Started. And this is William Pierce. Now, I reached out to him, or Lawrence Pierce, I apologize. Lawrence Pierce is the author of A New Little Ice Age Has Started, How to Survive and Prosper During the Next 50 Difficult Years. He's going to be on the radio show next Wednesday. We're really looking forward to it. We're going to be talking about his books. He has more than one. So you'll have links to all this. Check it out. We'll be talking more about it. Guys, I hope you got something out of the video. I had a huge day. Got a lot done. One of our fans cut me off at the pass while I was getting water today.